Hey YouTube, this is Backcountry Outdoors, and today I wanted to go over a few tips and tricks and techniques and some whatnots to do while airbrushing. Stay tuned. Alright, we got some white loaded up in the airbrush, and we're going to get this old spook here. We're going to get him primed out. But one thing I tell my kids when I'm teaching them how to do the airbrush is when you're doing anything, you always want to practice. Even if you're just starting out, when you're putting your base coat on, just don't go wide open with it unless you're a seasoned veteran, you know what you're doing. Just slowly work that trigger in and just slowly paint him up. This gives you practice on your trigger control. And when we switch over to colors, I want to show you something that will help you out that I've seen some people doing. I like watching people paint, and I've seen a couple guys do this, and it will cause you big mistakes. Move one good fluid motion back and forth. Now once you get to where you're comfortable, you can paint it, you know, wide open. But that's good practice. Just trigger control is key to getting fine lines and making stuff look really, really good without spider webbing and all that good stuff. And you guys that's been painting a long time, you know what I'm talking about. And some of you that have not been painting a long time know what I'm talking about, because it happens to the best of us. Even as long as I've been doing this with airbrushes and stuff, I sometimes get spider webs, and it happens. But the more you practice, the better you get. That's what I tell my kids all the time. My 4-year-old was asking questions the other day. How do I do this, Diddy? When I go to school, how do I know how to add numbers? So, well, you got to practice. Everything you do is how many times you've done it, and you get better at it each time you do it. And I promise you, with airbrushing, you're going to make mistakes. And we're just going to do this guy in one of my little frog patterns, so something simple, easy. Alright, we got him based up pretty good, and we'll get some green loaded up, and we'll go over some stuff with the green. Alright, we got the green loaded up. What I want to do is where I want this thing to come to, I'm just going to come up here with a little line of the green. And that gives me somewhere to go to. It gives me a set point. That's good for beginners to do, to start where you want to go to, make you a line, and then you go to that line. And the same thing. You want to just light, even coat. And when we get to the black, I'll show you what I've seen some folks doing, because I can show you real easy. I got a piece of paper sitting under this lure, and we're going to drop down. I'll show you what happens when you do things you ought not do. Alright, we'll get some black loaded up. We'll be right back. Okay, as I said, I got a piece of paper down here. And what I've seen people doing, I hope, let me get my everything down here and get it turned so you can see it, is you always want air coming out, no matter what. And when you're painting, you want to pull it back till paint comes out. And when you get done, you want to hold the air down. And you can see that this is my Iwata Revolution. It's got real good trigger control. I love the triggers on my Iwatas. And the only thing I found better trigger wise than the Iwatas, to me, is GSI Krios. I do have, if you watch my videos, you know, I have some Neo Echoes. I like those. Those are my backup airbrushes in case one of my Iwatas or my GSI Krios goes down and I've got a bunch of stuff to paint. Then I've got the airbrushes to back up to. But what I've seen people doing is they'll be back here painting and they will let go of the trigger. Now, I'm going to move over here, and as soon as I hit the air, splatter. If you don't hold that trigger down and follow it back up and keep holding air, when you start back up again, you're going to spatter. Every time, I promise. And I seen somebody doing that in a video I was watching the other day, and I'm like, oh no, don't do that. If you're painting solid colors, it's not really going to show up. But if you're trying to do some detail work, that will get you. You will not be happy. And another misconception that a lot of people have, this is the Revolution CR. The CR, there's two different models of this one. There's the CR, which has a 0.5 needle, which is big needle, good coverage. And you see me with this one a lot. This is, I do a lot of my base coating. Sometimes I paint the whole bait with nothing but this airbrush. I can do just as good with this one painting, you know, unless I'm painting lines like the video I made with the realistic crawl, and I'm trying to trace out a line, then I will grab my GSI Krios PS771, which has a 1.8 needle, and it gives you extra fine lines. But this one, and this is with the needle cap on. it will make a fine little line. I don't even know if you can see that, but it's there. Maybe that's a little better. The closer you get to what you're painting, the finer that line will be. Practice, 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 trigger control. Dagger strokes. Back this way, and just practice painting light, and then get some dark lines, and this thing will spray a lot of paint. The deal with the 1.8s and 1.5s and the real fine needle is you get better detail from further back with those. That's the good thing about those. But I just wanted to show you some of the mistakes I see and people doing, especially the trigger prop. Don't do that. Make sure you're following, always holding your air down and following your trigger all the way back to that needle is stopping that hole up and not letting paint come out, or else you're gonna mess up and you'll have to start over. Alright, we'll get back to painting the bait now. I just wanted to go over that real quick, and we'll go over stencil painting. And when you're stencil painting, the main thing is, with holes like this, it's kind of hard, but you don't really want to hit in those holes. You just kind of want it to wash just a little bit on the, you're wanting to paint right here on the outer edge of the holes, and it gives you a better experience, I guess you would say, because what'll happen is you'll wind up spider webbing. And you don't want to be spraying real heavy. You just want a light spray coming out. See, I got a little too dark there. Over. Especially with these hole patterns, you are going to hit some in the center. But when you're painting the crawfish pattern, like with I paint with the playing card, you just want to barely go on that outside edge and just follow it up and let the overspray really make your pattern. That's a little frog spook. I hope you learned something here anyway. Just, I don't want you to make mistakes, have to start over. And if I see stuff, I try to tell people, you know, the best way I know how to do something, because it will help you in the long run. Because I know, because I've done it and I've failed before and had to start all over on something, so I know the outcome of it. Alright, we'll get it dipped in some KBS, and we'll see what this one turned out to look like. Alright, I got some eyes on him. I'm going to get him dipped down in some KBS. Yeah, back when I first started airbrushing model cars and stuff, there wasn't no YouTube or nobody. It was just trial and error. If you didn't have somebody that already had done some airbrushing in the past. So I had to learn the hard way. But he turned out pretty good. See if we can get in a little closer. Just decided it wanted to focus tonight. Sometimes this thing does not like to focus. But yeah, there he is. Turned out pretty good. Alright, we got that one painted up. So I really suggest, if you're just starting out, take it slow, easy. Practice on paper. Practice on your bait. Spray slow. Practice your trigger control. Don't pop your trigger. Make sure you're following through with your trigger, and you'll be fine. You'll do good. The other thing you'll learn over time is how to blend your paints, how to shade in, and all that stuff. It'll come. It's just all in time. Practice. Practice makes perfect. Backcountry out.